Sandra and Jennifer often make quick money by attending exclusive parties and meeting wealthy men. One evening, they receive an invitation from a mysterious man named Mr. Thompson, promising them a night of luxury at a grand estate on the outskirts of the city. Tempted by the rewards, they accept the offer, unaware of the darkness that awaits them. When they arrive at the mansion, the atmosphere feels strange and unsettling. Though the party appears lavish, Sandra senses something is wrong, but Jennifer is too captivated by the excitement to notice. As the night progresses, Jennifer suddenly vanishes, leaving Sandra in a desperate search. Once upon a time in the city of Lagos, there lived two best friends named Sandra and Jennifer who did everything together. They lived in a busy city where life moved fast, and money was hard to come by. To make ends meet, they had started meeting different kind of men who would pay them for their company. It wasn't something they wanted to do forever, but it brought them quick cash. One evening, they got an invitation from a man named Mr. Thompson. He invited them to a high-class party at his estate outside the city. He promised it would be a night to remember, with rewards that would change their lives. Sandra told Jennifer that she felt something bad about this party, that maybe they should stay back. Jennifer, always the adventurous one, told her, "Come down, it's just a party." Excited about the money they would make, Sandra and Jennifer eagerly agreed as they traveled to the party in a fancy car sent by Mr. Thompson. Laughing and imagining all the things they could buy after the party, little did they know, this night would change their lives forever. When they arrived, the mansion was even more impressive than they had imagined. It was larger and more mysterious than they expected. It was huge, with tall gates and security guards all around. A tall man dressed in black greeted them and silently led them inside. The party was already in full swing, but something was off. The guests were all quiet, their eyes following the girls as they moved around the room. The atmosphere felt strange, almost cold. Sandra whispered to Jennifer, "Something doesn't feel right," but Jennifer brushed her off, eager to meet Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson appeared after a while, a charming smile on his face. He welcomed them warmly and introduced them to a group of men who seemed polite but distant. Everything seemed fine until Jennifer went off to talk to one of the men alone, leaving Sandra on her own. An hour passed, then two. Sandra began to worry. She looked for Jennifer but couldn't find her anywhere. Sandra asked one of the servers about her friend, but he only smiled and walked away without saying a word. That made Sandra even more nervous. She decided to search the mansion herself. As she wandered down the long, dimly lit hallways, she heard faint whispers, strange sounds that sent chills down her spine. Suddenly, she saw a door slightly open at the end of the hallway. She pushed it wider and found Jennifer sitting on a chair, her eyes wide with terror, but she didn't speak. It was as if she had been paralyzed with fear. Sandra shook her, trying to get her to respond, but Jennifer only stared ahead, motionless. Suddenly, Mr. Thompson appeared, his face no longer friendly. "Jennifer will stay here with us," he said, his voice cold. "She's chosen to become one of us." Sandra panicked and screamed as she grabbed Jennifer's hand, but her friend wouldn't move. As Mr. Thompson stepped closer, Sandra knew she had to run. She raced out of the room and down the hall, but the mansion seemed to change with every turn, trapping her. She finally found an exit, only to realize it led to a dark, endless maze outside the mansion. Terrified, she kept running, but the further she went, the more the trees and bushes seemed to close in on her. She could hear voices behind her, whispering her name, but she didn't dare look back. Just when she thought all hope was lost, an old woman dressed in white appeared in a distance. She looked kind, but her eyes were filled with sadness. "You shouldn't have come here," the woman said softly, "but I can help you escape." The woman guided Sandra through the maze, showing her a hidden path. Before Sandra could thank her, the woman whispered, "Don't come back, or you will end up like the others." Then she disappeared into the shadows. Sandra made it out and ran until she reached the main road. When she looked back at the mansion, it had vanished, as if it had never been there. Confused and scared, she went straight to the police to report what had happened. But when they arrived at the spot, there was no mansion, no Mr. Thompson, and no sign of Jennifer. Days turned into weeks, and Jennifer never returned. Sandra couldn't shake the feeling that something far worse had happened to her friend, something beyond this world. But the strangest part was yet to come. One night, as Sandra lay in bed, her phone rang. It was Jennifer's number. With trembling hands, she answered, followed by a faint whisper, "It's not over," only to hear silence on the other end. The story ends with a lesson about the dangers of ignoring your instincts. Sandra had felt something was wrong from the beginning but didn't act on it. In the end, the cost of chasing easy money and ignoring the signs led to a terrifying fate. And some mistakes have permanent consequences, and some decisions can't be undone once made. Moral of the story is to trust your instincts and avoid situations that feel dangerous. No matter how tempting the reward may be, not all opportunities are worth the risk, and some paths may lead to places from which you cannot return. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe for more stories like this.